Sorry Darren. In this video I am going to be talking about the Tesla Powerwall and my experience and my usage after having it for one whole year. So this video isn't going to go exactly how I planned due to mainly Tesla changing how their app displays some information a couple of months ago, and I was hoping to be able to talk about how much energy went into the Powerwall and how much energy I got out of it and kind of the energy efficiency over the year. So if you watch some of my regular monthly solar update videos, I used to kind of talk about the efficiency of the Powerwall because it should be about 90% efficient and I was getting about 89%, something like that. But I think it was it August? I think August app update. They've done something which basically screwed up kind of how it tells you how much energy went into the Powerwall. I've downloaded all of the data, and it's not really that straightforward to be able to calculate kind of how much went in. It's easy to tell how much went out, but anyway. That's about that. So let's start off with kind of a few stats over the last year. So this is a whole year of having the Powerwall. So if you're interested in the solar stuff specifically, I did a separate video because I had the solar for a little bit longer than the Powerwall. But if you're new to the channel, I'm here in my cave or my home office. That's where I spend most of my time. I work from home. We've got multiple servers and computers and monitors running all the time, so I have quite a high energy usage. Also have two electric cars, so I have a Tesla Model S and a Renault Twizy, so I charge those up, and so basically we just use a lot of electricity, and that's fine. A lot of it comes from the solar, and the money I'm saving on petrol kind of offsets electricity. But anyway, this is not about that. This is about Tesla Powerwall 2. So I had it installed on the 1st of October 2018, and this is kind of a whole year's usage up to the 1st of October 2019. So in that whole year, my house has utilised 10,238 kilowatt hours electricity. Solar supposedly generated around 7,883 kilowatt hours during that time. From the grid, I apparently pulled 3,566 kilowatt hours, and to the grid I sent 808 kilowatt hours. Now, if you add all those numbers up, it doesn't kind of make sense. So again, I don't know how accurate the Powerwall statistics are. These are all from the Tesla Powerwall. I haven't pulled it from any of my other apps like the My Energy app or the Solar Edge app or anything like that, because again, we're just talking about the Powerwall. But the main thing, the important number that I'm about to mention is the Tesla Powerwall says in its lifetime, so since being installed 1 year ago, it has supplied 3,005 kilowatt hours electricity for my usage. Now, some of that has heated the water, that's powered my house in the evenings. It's even sometimes, unfortunately, charged my car when my Energy Zappy wasn't working right. So, based on my current energy tariff, I'm currently with Octopus Energy, as I mentioned before. A little plug, if you decide you want to join those, please use the link in the description. You and I will both get £50. But there's two advantages that I have with Octopus Energy. So since getting the Powerwall, I have moved to the Octopus Go tariff, which means I have 4 hours of economy electricity, just under 5 pence a kilowatt. In the evenings. But aside from that, the kind of price per kilowatt during peak time, including VAT, works out to be about 13.72 pence. So if we look at 13.72 pence, we multiply that by 3,005, which is how many kilowatt hours I got from the Powerwall. That's kind of, in quotes, saved me £412.39. So if I hadn't had the Powerwall, that's how much extra the electricity would have cost me that I got from the Powerwall. Now, I can't obviously say how much that went into that came from the cheap electricity, which obviously I would have had to pay for, so that number's a bit skewed. can't say how much of that came from the solar. So again, this isn't an exact science, just talking about kind of how I'm feeling about things and some stats that I do have. In terms of the payback, so I've made some videos in the past where I talk about payback, and I still don't think it makes financial sense to just buy a battery without solar. An example of that is, so if this number was correct, it would take around 15.75 years, let's just call it 16 years to pay back the price of the Powerwall. And again, I'm quite a high energy user, so I've got quite a lot out of the Powerwall in a year. But really, the way I look at it is, because obviously mine's all bundled in with my solar system, so not including the cars and everything, my whole solar system and the battery is going to be about 9-year payback altogether. See my kind of 1 year of solar video if you want to find out a bit more about that. But the way I look at it is, what the battery has enabled me to do is have 3,005 kilowatt hours electricity that's either free or some combination of it at a cheaper rate than I would have had if I didn't have a battery. So that's the advantage in terms of the flexibility of usage. Now, stats and everything aside, how has the Powerwall 2 kind of worked over the year? I would say in general it works really well. It's very reliable. I've only had a couple of times where it does some really weird crap where it exports energy even though the battery's not full and stuff. Now I think, logically what I think it's doing is it obviously knows how much energy you've exported. So then I feel like it kind of does some weird balancing thing where it says, oh, you've exported a kilowatt this morning by accident for some other reason. So it's okay if I pull a kilowatt in to run the house instead of charging up using the solar that you have. And I think that is because obviously Tesla is an American company, and in many states in the US they have this net metering thing where it's like, I give the grid 5 kilowatts, I can have 5 kilowatts back for free. And obviously we don't have that in the UK. So I think that's kind of what the oddity is that happens every now and then, but it doesn't happen very often, so it's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit odd. The other thing that it does, that I've mentioned in previous videos, is it obviously does maintenance cycling. So this becomes more common in the winter months where it's not getting a full charge and full discharging. It will it will pull from the grid to kind of keep the batteries at a kind of tolerable level to make sure it lasts as long as it possibly can. And so it does this maintenance cycle where it will pull a fair amount of kilowatts from the grid for maybe half an hour or something, and kind of make sure the batteries are maintained. It will also sometimes do a little bit of pull from the grid before the off-peak charging time happens, again to try and get the battery up to temperature to make sure that the energy efficiency over that period of time is as good as it can be. So it's doing things hopefully in a smart way to try and be most efficient and increase the longevity of the battery. The only other thing I've noticed over the year is I have mine connected via Ethernet and Wi-Fi, and obviously it has the SIM card in it for cell reception back to Tesla. And I have noticed over must be the last quarter, since some of the more recent software updates, that it will sometimes flash up saying not connected to Tesla. So I have one of my screens, I have a tab open in the web browser so I can always kind of quickly see what's happening, so I can make more informed decisions about how I'm using my energy. And I see more regularly now it's saying not connected to Tesla, and it will connect and then say not connected. And I go into the stats and check everything, and the Ethernet is connected, the Wi-Fi is working, everything's working. It's just a little bit glitchy. So I think that's more of a Tesla issue than a home network issue for myself. Maybe if you kind of have the same kind of level of anxiety of keeping an eye on this stuff in the screen, maybe you can comment below if yours is doing a similar thing. But apart from that, I'm really happy with the Powerwall. The video I just done, we spoke a bit about kind of how and why it pulls from the grid. I'd say 90% of the time it does what I'd expect it to do. But like the last 2 days, for example, the weather has been absolutely terrible here in the UK. it's only charged up a little bit from the grid, even though my energy usage is pretty regular really, because I'm always at home, and so kind of Mondays to Fridays are quite a high usage, and at the weekend it's a little bit lower because I'm not working and the family's here and everything. But in general it works very well. As I say in Anchorman, 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. But yeah, I'm still really happy with it. A couple of people asked, would I get another one? I don't think it makes sense for me to have two Powerwalls for a couple of reasons. One, the price has gone up, so I think it's like about $8,000 or so now to have a Tesla Powerwall 2. Granted, you get the Gateway 2, which means you have backup capabilities, but I think in the year I've had the Powerwall, I don't think I've had any power cuts, so it's not a regular thing here. And so just again, looking at how long the payback would take, I don't think my solar array is big enough. In my year of solar, I did have a significant amount of excess that went back to the grid, but obviously could have gone into a battery. But also, I got my Tesla more or less halfway through the year as well. So I think because I have electric vehicles, it doesn't make sense for me to have an additional battery for the couple of months a year where I can fully kind of utilize that. And also mainly because I'm at home all the time. So I think it makes more sense to have more batteries if you're not at home and you have solar, so you can maximize the solar generation that you have. Whereas I'm doing that at home all the time because I have the car plugged in, so it's charging. But obviously if you're at work, you fill one battery up and then it's all going out to the grid. But that's it, I think, really. I'm still happy with the Tesla Powerwall 2. I've got no concerns that over the next 9 years until its warranty runs out, it's going to continue to provide the service that I've been happy with. It's still nicely kind of stuck on that wall where it's mounted. It hasn't got any louder or anything, and yeah, so no regrets whatsoever. I'm definitely glad that I got the Tesla Powerwall 2 as opposed to some other battery product. And yeah, I just hope Tesla, please give me back that old working app where I had more statistics and stuff. But yeah, I think if you are going to get a battery and you need something that can give 14.5 kilowatt hours of energy storage, definitely consider a Tesla Powerwall. But I think there may be some other options that are a bit more price competitive now, so keep that in mind as well. If you have a Tesla Powerwall 2, or perhaps you thought about getting one and you didn't, you got something else, please leave comments below. I'd like to understand how you've been getting on. Perhaps you also got a Tesla Powerwall, the original one. Maybe that's been working really well for you, and you want to share your experiences with me and others in the Spectrum Geeks community. Also, I do a last plug for the Discord channel. So it's got a bit quiet lately, so please reach out, join the Discord channel, build a community, ask questions, get answers, contribute, share ideas, and other things. That's it. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.